Hey, what's up, Dolphin fans? It's Jason Taylor. Hope everybody is healthy and safe out there, most importantly. So, a couple things I wanted to discuss about this upcoming Dolphin season. So, I'm sure there's a lot of optimism and excitement. Sure, we got Tua in the draft, and Dolphins finished out pretty strong last year, had a really good draft this year, and Tom Brady left the AFC East, so things are looking pretty good, shaping up, and there might be a chance that this could be the year that everything turns around and starts heading in the right direction. But either way, we appreciate you guys hanging in there over the last I don't know, 15, 20 years when things got a little tough on you guys, but keep hanging in there. Things will get better. So I got to tell a real quick joke for Brian Byrne. I'm not a big joke guy, but I'm going to give you my best one, and I hope you like it because I think it's great. So why do golfers carry two pairs of pants? In case they get a hole in one. Get it? No? All right. Anyway, fins up.
By the Fanatics, Jimmy Kearns and Brian Byrne on the Fanatics Network.
What is going on, and welcome into another episode of the Fin Addicts podcast on the Fin Addicts Network. As always, I am your host, Jimmy Kearns. Before we get into anything, please, if you haven't already, subscribe to our YouTube channel at Fin Addicts Network. Follow, leave us 5-star rating, a review if you like it, what you don't like, whatever your heart desires on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor. It's all over the place. You can find the podcast and listen. Make sure you do the same thing for the Twitter handle. Give us a follow at Fin_Addicts. Make sure you check out our other podcasts, The Sure Thing and Savak's Seriously Sports. So we also created a hotline. We want to hear from the fans. You can get a hold of us at 786-309-7558. Call or text a reaction to any Miami Dolphins news, weigh in on the takes, suggestions. If you have a dad joke of the day for Brian, please reach out. Just let us know. Just know that whatever you leave on there can and will be used against you on the podcast. Before we get into anything else, shout out to Steve Anderson, who he sent us some logo edits on the hotline. Sorry, I got something going on my throat right now. Sent us some logo edits, but unfortunately, there's not really much we can do about it on our end. Going to have to get that over to the team, but thank you for reaching out and taking the time to do so. But before anything else, what's up, guys? How's it going? Let's get into everyone. Savak, what's going on, brother?
Not too much. It's great to be here. I'm not much of a morning person. I used to be. Well, actually, that's a lie. I've never been a morning person. I just used to get up early a lot. But on this, the birthday of our country, it's great to see you guys.
It's good to see you too, brother. Brian, what is up, man?
Jimmy, good to see you. Savak, good to see you. I feel a little bit out of place. You guys are in American flag get up, and I'm just always sporting the colors of Miami Dolphins. Maybe I should have switched it up today. But we got some exciting things going on at the Fanatics Network, mainly with fantasy football. We have an amazing fantasy football league. We have as many 12-person leagues as needed to accommodate everybody who wants to play. We already have 4 leagues filling up. Each league, it's only $50 to enter. Each league gets all of that money. Fanatics is not taking a cut of this. So each league will get a payout of $400, $150, and $50 to third place. But the really cool thing, the grand champion of all the leagues combined is going to get a really cool Fanatics Network trophy to put on Twitter to show you are the king of Miami Dolphins Twitter of fantasy football. But more importantly than that, you're going to get 2 tickets to the MetLife Takeover in New York, Miami Dolphins versus Jets. Unbelievable time. You sit with 1,000 crazy Dolphin fans. I've been the last few years. It's an amazing time. You don't want to miss that. So if you have any questions on that, follow us on Twitter at Fin_Addicts or hit us up at info@fanaddictsnetwork.com and we can give you more information on that. We also have a really fun poll today. It's fun for me because I still have animosity towards this gentleman. But the poll of the day, will the New York Jets coach Adam Gase be fired in 2020? The options are yes, at some point during the season, just yes, he will be fired, or no, he will not be fired. And we'll circle back to that later to see what Twitter thinks.
Yeah, I wonder if it comes down to it, if they're going to decide to take a horrible coach or possible all-pro players. I wonder what side they'll come down on. But yeah. It is the Jets. But thank you, Brian. Last but not least, our very special guest today, Jason Sarney, joining us on the Fin Addicts podcast from the Fin Maniacs. Jason, what's going on, brother? Good to see you again.
Good to see you guys. Thank you, Jimmy. Hello, Brian. Hello, Savak. Happy 4th of July, everyone. Brian, I'm in your color code today. You know, usually I'm always aqua orange, and I should have gone a little red, white, and blue. It's around the house. The kids are decked out, so we're good representation here. But thanks for having me, guys.
Thanks for joining us, man. So what are you currently working on right now, man? You got anything for us?
Yeah, doing a couple of things specifically over at Fin Maniacs. Now, obviously, July, we're a couple of weeks away from training camp, so I'm really kind of looking into a project of kind of trying to build the 53-man roster. There's a little asterisk to that because you kind of technically could have 55 because they're going to call up 2 players for game day, send them back down. Practice squad is going to be a little bit more prevalent with players, about 10 players, 12 players. So there's a lot of jobs out there. So I'm going to be doing a series to try to kind of fill in those jobs. I mean, everyone knows certain corners and linebackers and receivers who are going to obviously make this team, but there really are about 25 jobs out there that really could go to about 40 different guys. So that's going to be my fun. And of course, as Brian mentioned, it is fantasy preparation month. So we're going to be doing some fun Dolphin-centric and non-Dolphin-centric things on Fin Maniacs for fantasy purposes coming out real soon.
Awesome,
Real
man.
quick, Jason has one of the greatest interviews I've seen recently. He had a really fun interview with the Fish Tank, which is OJ McDuffie, Seth Levitt, DJ Preach. That's on his YouTube channel. Where can we find that YouTube channel, Jason?
Oh, thanks, Brian. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Shout out to the guys over at the Fish Tank. You know, all 3 of them, Seth, Preach, OJ, they came on board. You know, we did a little fun trivia Q&A, and it's up on the Fin Maniacs YouTube channel. You can be seeing over on, finmaniacs.com as where we host a lot of those Dolphin jokes for you guys, too, to give a little bit of an online presence. So all those videos that I do and my friends like the Fin Addicts Network can be found on Fin Maniacs.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Well, we appreciate it, man. Hey, I hate to put you on the spot here, but
go ahead.
Can you give us a name that people might not know of that could sneak onto this roster and make an impact? Somebody, a little bit of a deep dive for us?
I'm going to go as deep of a dive as I can because, a lot of names are out there. A lot of people are mentioning who's the next Preston Williams, and a lot of guys are loving Kirk Merritt. That's not my name. I love Kirk Merritt, but I'm going to go very, very, very deep and look at a position on the field that we don't have anymore. We don't have a gunner. We don't have a special teams guy who's going to go tackle players and force down punts. That was Walt Aikens. There's a kid who we signed as an undrafted free agent who literally did that, as well as cat passes, return kicks, return punts. That's Matt Cole from McKendree University. This is a kid who literally could make his bones by never touching a ball other than downing it, much like a Matthew Slater from the New England Patriots. So that's the guy that I really would love to see earn a job, even if it's the only thing he ever does in his career. I think he could literally come on in and not just be a 3rd string safety or 5th string corner that just has to take that job. I think he's tailor-made for that and could do some other things. So I think there's a very specific direction on why they bring in Matt Cole.
Awesome, man. Awesome. It's a great position, a great spot that you really don't realize you're missing until you have it. Like, a lot of people don't even know Slater from New England, but that dude makes a ton of huge plays and swaps field position. And man, he does a lot of great stuff. And you don't know you're missing it until you actually have it,
Exactly.
So awesome. I like that take, man. Thank you. And again, as we do with everyone, man, how'd you become a Dolphin fan, bro?
Oh, I love this. Is my favorite story. And as I told my guy Savak on his Seriously Savak show last week, kind of like fate, man. My dad was never a huge football guy, always liked, rooted for teams in football, baseball, just like good dynasty and teams. Can't fault him for it. But never really told me to be a Jet fan or a Giant fan growing up in New York. I kind of had to just make my own way. And one day I was invited to a birthday party. I was a new kid in Long Island coming from Queens, New York. So I was a purebred New Yorker. not knowing what to do at a football party. Said, wear a jersey. I didn't even know I had a jersey. Went to the closet, had an unopened Merino jersey from a relative down in Florida. I studied what football was. I really had no clue what the line of scrimmage meant at 9 years old, 10 years old. So Dan Marino was in an encyclopedia. That was the jersey. It was cool colors. Everything spiraled after that, and I started watching the man. And, you're watching a guy like Dan Marino in 90, 91, 92, only getting Jet games, only getting a Monday night game. This is prior to, I'm a little older than some of us on Twitter. So DirecTV was a very nice find for me once I literally started driving. So that was a great coinciding of being able to get out to a bar in like the teenage years. But yeah, early 90s, it was Marino and an Encyclopedia Britannica that did it to me. And
nice. You're talking about you're a little older than people on Twitter. There's probably a lot of people on Twitter don't even know what an encyclopedia is, and you just dropped. You know what I mean?
I'm like one of the only people who used to get paper cuts doing research on the Dolphins, scrolling through encyclopedias. Paper, not internet.
I mean, I haven't used one in probably 20 years or whatever it is, but my grandmother bought me a dictionary and one of the, like, similar to what you're talking about, the set of encyclopedias you buy off of like QVC or whatever it was, and I loved it. I would just flip through them and just read whatever, random stuff, try to learn something.
That was great.
And it didn't work out too great because I'm pretty dumb, but it put a good effort in, though.
But you're Dolphins, and obviously you went there for that info.
I know a little bit. The actual mammal itself. I know more about the actual mammal than anything else. Anyways, all right. Well, thank you, Jason. That is a good story. I like that. You were a kid and you wanted to know some stuff. You wanted to fit in at a party. You wanted to be able to talk, debate.
Yeah, I wanted to fit in a New York party. I became a Dolphin fan. It worked out.
I'm sorry. That's a good point. Moving forward,
it worked out great because I'm the Dolphin guy. I'm the idiot. I'm the Dolphin guy.
Jason has a lot in common with Jimmy and I. He ended up going to the University at Buffalo, and Jimmy's from Western New York out in Rochester. I went to University at Buffalo. So we all have that kinship of just suffering being a Miami Dolphins fan in Western New York. Jason and I have a little bit of leg up on Jimmy because when we were there, Dolphins were still a perennial playoff team. We weren't there during the early 90s when the Bills were going to the Super Bowl every year, but those late 90s during the Flutie Flakes, we still had a leg up on them. So, but we know about pain being in Western New York and being a Miami Dolphins fan.
So real quick story. The playoff game against Baltimore, what was that? 09 or what did that end up being? 09 or 10?
Well, which one?
The one they got smacked by like 40. The one
that was the Fiedler game, which was back in 2002.
Yeah, no. I'm talking about 2008. Yeah, I was stationed in Las Vegas, and I went out until like 4 a.m. With a few of the guys, and I forgot to set an alarm. I woke up panicked. I'm like, oh man, like I'm missing the Dolphins game. Like I wanted to go to the casino, sit and watch it. So I'm in a haze. I turned the TV on real quick, and it's like 42-6 or something, and I'm like, oh. All right, cool. And I just turned the TV off and went back to bed. I was like, all right, sweet. I didn't miss much. All right. Well, thanks, Jason. We'll get into some more stuff then. Let's move
hang on. That reminds me of a story. The last playoff game that Miami was in, we got kicked around by Pittsburgh. So I had just bought a new car about a week before that, right? And all of a sudden that day I had to go to work and the car wouldn't start. And so now I'm standing there. I'm like, okay, well, at least I get to watch part of this game. That's pretty cool. And then Pittsburgh goes up 2 touchdowns on us in like 5 minutes. I'm like, dude, you have to be kidding me. So not only am I having car troubles with a brand new car, at least brand new to me, now I'm watching us get our freaking teeth kicked in the first playoff game we've been in like forever.
Yeah, when it rains, it pours. If they were up 14 and your car was screwed up, you could be like, hey, whatever. Yeah,
cool. Right on.
But unfortunately, it never works that way.
No.
All right, fellas, you guys ready to jump into some topics or what? Get to the nitty gritty?
Yes,
all
sir.
Right. So we got a little bit of breaking news here. Washington Redskins and their possible logo change. On July 3rd, owner Daniel Snyder actually opened the door finally to the possibility of some name changes. A lot of things getting thrown around online, best possible, what might happen. Nike's taken them off taking all their gear. They don't sell any Washington Redskins stuff anymore. This has been a long time coming. The Cleveland Indians, they dropped the logo that they had. Now they're talking about possibly changing the team name as well. Brian, you want to kick us off here with something? What's your take on all this?
Yeah, we did have one text come in. I'm sorry, Caribbean Shark. He feels that this is long overdue. They can change the name. Somebody mentioned on our show, I believe 2 weeks ago, that they have already trademarked the name Warriors. So that's definitely going to be an option.
Called it.
And but yeah, he agrees that it's time to change. I think this is 20 years overdue. I don't even think this is like subtly inappropriate. I think it's very overtly. This isn't like, having a team named the Indians. This is, we're just talking about skin color.
It was a slur. It's basically a slur.
Well, here's the thing. Two things on that, actually. With the Indians, the offensive thing was their logo. It's just the way
they're doing the hand over the mouth. Yeah,
exactly. The way my dad broke it down to me, he's like, well, imagine if they were called the Cleveland Blacks and they had this old buckwheat looking character up there, you know?
Yeah.
With the Redskins, the funny thing about it is the term itself isn't like necessarily a slur. History, reports suggest that it actually came out of the Native American community itself.
Oh.
Their issue with it is when non-Native Americans use the term. Yeah.
Yeah, it's that's something that's fine for them to call one another, but if they want, but who am I as Whitey to be, what it just isn't right. It's not right. Some of the stuff I did. I'm sorry, Brian. I'll just real quick. Some of the stuff I did see from Native American voices and people speaking out, they're actually fine with the logo. They actually want to keep the logo because it's a very I can't even think of a great word. I want to say prominent. Like it's a very, it looks like a chief, like the leader of a tribe. Like it's a tough looking, like hard dude.
Exactly.
So they like the logo, but the name change is where it would be. Brian, I'm sorry. What?
Yeah, no, I was just going to go back to that. Just culturally, we're trying to teach children at a very young age, like, please don't judge people on the color of the skin. And this $1 billion organization that all eyes are on all the time,
because they're in our capital.
To skin color, it's tone deaf, and I think it's long overdue. I know there's a lot of older people that just hate anything to change, but nobody died when the Tennessee Titans changed their name to the Titans from the Oilers. I just think it's long overdue.
Yeah, and that's offensive to Oilers, So the men that made money out there just pulling, sucking all of our natural resources away. Got to protect these killers of the planet. Jason, what do you think about this, man? Where do you stand? I can't imagine you're against it or anything.
No. I'm very much on par with what you guys are saying. For the Washington Redskins, this has been a topic for a long time. Even prior to things like social media, it's a very offensive name. The logo itself, to me, I agree. It's rather a regal logo within that, framework. There's nothing offensive there. The Cleveland Indians baseball logo, Chief Wahoo's tribe, might be a little cartoonish, condescending. Yeah. So I'm very much with you guys on that. What I fear is that there's a Pandora's box coming. A lot of jokes are coming with, now we got to change this team or that team.
Yeah.
And then that's going to go down to college or go down to high school. And pretty much now, I just think that, the world has shrunk with all the information out there and all the socials that things could change in a heartbeat. Change will happen. People have to respect and accept that. But that doesn't mean that everything needs to change. Certain things should be amended. That's why the word is amend. You add to it, you fix. Doesn't mean you destroy and you whatever. We'll pull the reins back. But the point is, the Redskins team needs to have a change. What we do after that, I think there needs to be a little bit of pause.
Brian, did you
Real
have something?
quick, there was a poll done recently, and it was a university. I can't remember the name of it, but it's been what the Redskins have been citing, and it says like 8 out of 10 Native Americans did not have a problem with them keeping that name. And throughout the week, that poll has really come under some fire. It's basically been found to not really have the sources they claim to have, and other universities are doing polls and coming up with very stark opposition. Not to mention, I mean, every single Washington Redskins home game, there is a protest that's done about this name. So
well, whoever creates the poll can make their poll look however they want to make it. You know, who are you polling? Like, there's a huge thing called statistics that there's many aspects of it, and why some polls are good, some aren't. You know, so it's whatever they want you to see and know. I'm not a big cancel culture fan. I think some of the stuff is way overblown. It's absurd. But this one, I have no problem with. But yeah, I worry too, Jason, with some of the other stuff we see that gets changed, taken. Like it's a little absurd. You know, we don't need to get into the politics of it or anything like that. But like I have a local high school near me that they're called the Braves. There's not even any like Native American imagery, nothing like that. It's just the name, the Braves, and they're getting pressured to change their name. It's
that's what I'm saying. I see nothing wrong with that, name, and especially if it's not done offensively. I mean, this is what I'm talking. I hope that there's a little bit of like the cancel culture's got to kind of stop.
Yeah. I agree with you 100%. So I got CBS Sports.com did an article about it. They have some name changes that were suggested that they liked. You guys want me to run through them real quick, see what you think?
Go for it.
Absolutely.
So the first one, and this just ended up this way, I didn't plan this, was the Braves. But they're saying on CBS Sports, they listed it, but they said this one's a no-go. This one is something that would get backlash as well. So I don't know why they listed it. They have the Hogs, naming the team after the offensive line that won them 3 Super Bowls between the 80s and the 90s. What do you guys think of that? Going back to the days of the Hogs, the O-line, right?
It's rooted in the team's history, so I can understand them making that switch.
Agreed. Well said.
The Red Hawks.
Too many jokes about the women fan base. I feel coming in that way.
That's offensive to women Redskin fans all over the place.
Yeah, careful now. Careful. They're going to get us canceled.
I'm not even going to make a comment on that because I will get us. I'm moving on. I'm learning. I've learned from last week.
As a matter of fact, I too had some change ideas because I had addressed this in a video some time ago, but a couple of which I can't actually say on here because it will get us in trouble. But I noticed that the one that I had decided that was probably the best fit for them is actually on that list too. You're probably about to say it, the Washington Warriors.
Yeah.
That's probably the best.
That seems to be the leader in the clubhouse. Mm-hmm. Yeah, people are talking about that one. And again, we'll touch on that. I won't go through and give Red Hawks, Senators. I kind of like Senators other than Ottawa hockey team already having it, but being in DC, and they make a point. The Senate has a disastrous approval rating right now. The Americans, which might not be a great thing to try to do right now.
That's not a sexy name. Doesn't sound that great.
No, I do like the Generals, the Washington Generals. That was like a basketball team though, or something, wasn't it?
They don't have a very good record. I think they're the ones that go against the Globetrotters every time.
Yeah,
they did win one game against the Harlem Globetrotters.
They're
the Washington Senators.
That was the game. That was the game that I bet against. I mean, that was the one game. And I thought I had a sure thing, and I just thought.
So they have the Warriors along with Bravehearts and Renegades.
Bravehearts.
Yeah,
like the Mel Gibson movie.
Maybe they use that as their Mel Gibson, known as one of the most inclusive people of all time. Yeah, that dude just loves everyone. So I think that's a
One
good
racist slogan to another
lives.
racist slogan.
It's just
Would be
Our
amazing.
lives, but they'll never take our football.
yeah,
Replace the logo with Mel Gibson's face. I
Just
would
his-
love that.
his face, the Braveheart face. I like the Warriors. I really, if they went to the Warriors, I'd have no problem with that. I saw some mock-ups on Twitter of some really cool logos of it. One of them kind of looked like a dream catcher. It had the W in the middle. It looked like the Ultimate Warriors logo, and it had like feathers hanging off of it. Because hey, I think the best thing for them to do right here is to not completely get away from this Native American, like, because
Exactly.
that's one of my issues with this progressive movement. Is, you know, they take Aunt Jemima's face off of stuff, Uncle Ben's face off of stuff. Well, now you're removing people of color's faces off of like big time products. Like now we're just hiding people of color. Like that doesn't work. So I think they should pivot. If they keep the logo and go to the Warriors or something like that and still hold on to some of that heritage, some of that history, like we can't just totally delete history, you know?
Right.
So I like the Warriors. What real quick, what do you guys have leader in the clubhouse? What would be your favorite, Brian?
Yeah, I think obviously it's the Warriors. They already have it trademarked. It goes really good with the current logo. It goes really good with their throwback, the helmet that just has the arrow on it. Washington Warriors, you know, alliteration is really good.
Yep.
So I think it's the obvious choice. No one has to be offended. They don't have to. And as we touched on our last show, like Daniel Snyder should be grateful. This will supersede the 5-year law to change your logo, and they can just get people will buy the old stuff up off the shelves for retro reasons insanely, and then they get to sell a new jersey. Chase Young new Washington Warriors jersey would be a he rivaled Tua, so it's a no-brainer
for sure. Savak, what do you think? I'm guessing you like Warriors as well, or what?
Yes, sir. I think that it's hard for me to imagine any other name working as well as that one will. So I gotta go with the Warriors.
You guys talked about alliteration. If they could manage to win some games ever, Washington Warriors win. Like it just boom, there you go. But they unfortunately, I don't know how often that'll happen. Jay, what do you think, man? Where are you at on this?
With you. I'm not gonna deviate. Brian, you guys, Savak said it well. The alliteration works, and you got to keep a little bit of that. There is a way in life to have your cake and eat it too. You know, there's not a way to just erase and then restart.
Exactly.
Keep that overall component. I like the Warriors, and yeah, you're right. Dan Snyder's gonna have a kind of good problem to have with all this new merchandise.
Oh,
That's great.
Yeah, and that dude, he doesn't care about money. He's one of the owners.
Yeah, not at all.
Yeah,
Only about the W's. Only about the WW.
My goodness, that guy, one of the worst owners in the league, in my opinion. But hey, we go 4 for 4 on the Warriors. No manufactured debate over here on the Fin Addicts. Brian, did you have something? You looked like you were no good to go. All right, hey, so let's keep it moving then. I'm going to pass this one off a little bit after I get into it, because Brian seems to be the leader on this one and what he knows. Josh Rosen, a lot of Josh Rosen talk on Miami Dolphins Twitter. People love the prospect of Josh Rosen playing something, doing something. Oh, I jumped way too far down here. Brian gave me a look of like, yo, what are you doing? I jumped like 7 topics down.
I'm not ready for Rosen yet.
I'm like,
much like the Miami Dolphin fan base, I am not ready for Josh Rosen.
Everybody rushes.
He's giving me a look, and I'm like, wait, I thought I'm supposed to go. I thought you had some stuff on this one for us. I'm messing up today. You know what it is? I put too much info. Like I have too much information. You know when you're like going to speak somewhere, if you just do the bullet points and wing it, you do it right. But if you write out a whole speech, you just completely botch it. Like that's what I'm working with right now. Anyways, real quick, as we talked about the other day on preseason games, the NFLPA has voted for 0 preseason games, reported by Mike Garofalo. We won't get into it too much because it hasn't been decided yet, but as expected, the Players Association wants 0 preseason games as opposed to the 2 that the league side of stuff is pitching. Does anybody very quickly, I know we talked about the other day, Jason, do you have anything, since you weren't with us, you got an opinion on these preseason games?
No, I'm always, for years, I've been a guy to say, give it 2 preseason games. Let's add some regular games. Just, you know, if you're going to play all those games, make two less of them count. But whatever they do, I'm for. I'm not arguing. It's their bodies. It's obviously their choice. So whatever gets us to real football, I'm all for. So
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you 100%. Sorry, just that the use of that slogan in this sense.
That was really
Bringing
good.
Bringing it to football.
I think they'll just use this as a bargaining chip to end up on 1, which
Yeah.
makes sense in the current things. They said 0. NFL said 2. Everybody's going to do a dance for 1, and that's probably where we're going to end up at.
But I know we weren't going to talk about this a lot, but now 1 makes me like it even less. Now, so what do you play starters for 3 quarters? And what about these guys who are fighting for a roster spot? Like, is it a warm up? Is it a warm up for the guys?
For the first.
Yeah.
Starters for the first. That's it.
But I know, but then that's a half for these guys that are trying to get the last roster spot. Like, that just sucks. I would rather have 2 or none.
I'll say this.
But you're right, Brian.
The practices across the league should be like the greatest practices you're ever going to witness. If there are fans that are allowed to go, these should be like high school. I mean, you're playing to literally have football life. There's going to be no kind of, lackadaisical situations, especially with a team like the Dolphins. These guys are going to be fighting for jobs. So
yeah,
less games, bigger practice stakes.
If they went to like 0 or 1 or whatever, I would really like, and I don't know too much about collective bargaining and stuff like that. I don't pay too much attention to it, but I would like them to allow some more hitting and practicing that and more pad time. If they're going to remove preseason games, I'm sure they can't just snap their fingers and do it overnight if it's already under contract. But if they're going to change this, then maybe change that to balance it a bit. But all right, cool. Moving on, and I'll get us the right topic this time. The NFL supplemental draft has been canceled per the NFL. So one or 2 guys get taken in this every year. In a normal year, this wouldn't be that big of a deal, wouldn't be that big of an issue. But Brian, can you know a good amount about this stuff? Can you fill us in as to why this could be a bigger deal this year?
Yeah, this is kind of surprising, and I have to think that at some point they shook a hand with some NCAA officials to get this through, because as much as every league is up in arms if there will actually be a season this year, college football, I believe, is the most vulnerable of any of the major sports. And I do consider them one of like the top 6 major sports, even though they're not professional. But it's going to be very hard for them to get a season going, to keep a season going, to have a full season. So there was a lot of speculation that some of these kids that already met the requirements to enter the draft, but decided to stay in the NFL or in college football for 1 more season, may decide to go in the supplemental draft because they might not have that chance to shine this year. In the running back from Clemson, Etienne, is it Etienne? That's his name. He is a guy that really strikes me as it was a surprise that he went back to college to begin with. He'd already met all the needs that he needs to go to the NFL. And now they're taking that away, that avenue for these people. If there is NFL and there's not college football. The other thing I've heard a lot about too is that a big concern is if they push the college football season back a few months and it starts later and it goes later, these kids are going to have no chance to get ready for next year's draft. And a lot of them are going to decide not to play at all because, that January, February is their time to make money, to get ready, to start working with, pro practice guys. So it was a little surprising to me that they did this. It affects Miami because it goes by the draft order that we just went through in April. So Miami would have had the 5th pick in the first round, in most of the rounds thereafter. So I am a little surprised. I thought this year more than any, it's usually 2 to 3 guys that people have their eye on going into the supplemental draft. But I really figured this year it could have been 5 to 10 guys that decided to come out.
Oh, wow.
Little surprised by this. We'll see how this unfolds. I don't know what you guys think about it.
Yeah. So what do they say? What is the theory? For every action, there's an equal or greater reaction. Like we're in a domino effect right now of, every move they make is going to have an impact somewhere else. Jason, what do you got on this? You got an opinion on this?
Brian really touched on it well. The Dolphins, I think, even if there was a supplemental draft, probably should kind of stand pat, especially really in everything in terms of bringing in more players. That's, every time a player becomes available too, outside of supplemental drafts, everyone in the Dolphin camp, like the David Njoku, we should bring him in. I don't think the Dolphins have room for really anybody else. So even if there was a supplemental, you look around who you bring in, who you have to cut. They're going to have to cut so many people. Yeah. I think that the in of bringing a player in is capped, So I'm okay with not having a supplemental draft selfishly for Miami, but I do think that it's a major disadvantage for some of these kids, especially not knowing, like you said, Jimmy, that reaction. What will happen if that happens? Are they going to be able to play football in 12 months and in 18 months and 24 months? What's going to happen to these kids? So yeah, it's a tough spot to be in. We have no data to go off. This is fresh waters, so I defer to the people who are doing this for literally their business. So we have to react how they do.
Yeah. And just for everyone listening, most recently, biggest names, Josh Gordon and Terrell Pryor are the two that were taken as supplemental picks. And hey, Terrell Pryor decided to play wide receiver, and he was actually pretty good wide receiver, all things considered. And Josh Gordon could have probably been one of the top, possibly ever, talent-wise at least, if he could have stayed on the field. Savak, where are you at here?
I think you guys hit the nail on the head in all regards because, as Jason was saying, who are the Dolphins going to bring in? Because there's already a list out there. The Miami Herald actually put out an article talking about the list of players who are the likeliest to get cut before training camp. So, I mean, I don't know. There's who do you cut to make room, and who are you going to bring in? Who is that important? And from the perspective of the athletes, I really do feel for them because I'm reading that article here on NFL.com. It says that prospective supplemental draft picks will not be free agents. They will instead, they can instead enter the 2021 NFL draft. And like you guys were alluding to, we don't know exactly what's going to happen with that. We don't know what's happening with the college season. Everything is up in the air. So I think it affects those student athletes the most, and I really feel for them. As far as Miami's concerned, I think we're okay, but it's just kind of unfortunate for those kids.
Yeah, it's a tough situation for sure. And like Jason hit on, we're in uncharted territory right now. And whatever, this is stuff that whatever these guys decide to do, the players got to look out for themselves. The young kids coming in are going to have to look out for themselves. And, the people that run the league, the owners, they got to do what is right for them also. So it's a weird situation, stuff we've never dealt with before. So, yeah. All right, you guys ready to move on or what? Anybody wanted to quickly, really not much more to say about that, huh? Mm-mm. All right, so moving on here, the Miami Dolphins, Coach Flores and the boys have dropped the 2020 Miami Dolphins hype video. And you talk about hype. This thing is hype. You want to run through a wall. I'm ready for the season to start right now. And we are going to play that for you. Right, guys? We got that?
Absolutely.
I'm not even going to try to leave. Whenever you're ready, run that bad boy. We don't need to talk about it. Let's be about it.
They've continued to work and grow and implement their program and are setting the foundation for what they want to get accomplished here over the next couple of seasons.
I think one of the most intriguing teams this offseason is the Miami Dolphins.
The Dolphins have the capital to do whatever they want.
They're competing and building a culture.
I believe in team. I would say that. If you want to strive to do something great as a group, you got to work together.
You have a plan, you stay true to the plan, you execute the plan. The Dolphins, this is how you turn around a franchise, like this.
We're trying to build a team that's going to win right now, and we'll be very aggressive.
Welcome to the field, your Miami Dolphins.
We're looking for guys who are tough, who are smart, who are competitive, love to play.
They have landed some big fish. Love what the Miami Dolphins did. You're trying to build something there.
Throw to the end zone. It is Parker. Darnold never saw the pressure coming, and he is leading. He wide open. Touchdown. Let's have to find and play together, man. Win on three, win on me. 1, 2, 3, win.
If you can get a group of young men to band together, to believe in one another, to practice and prepare at a high level, then you'll win ball games.
I love it. Love it, right?
Mm-hmm.
That
Let's
is
go run through a wall.
That
Right
for
here.
real, man. For real. Jason, that would have been some good footage for us if you just ran out.
You know,
and ran through your wall.
I'm an injury-prone guy. I don't need a July injury before training camp, but
It would have been good for the clicks, though, kid.
Oh, hey, listen, everything for the clicks. Everything for the clicks. You're right. You're right.
Man, I would follow Brian Flores, and not to make light of it, into combat. You know, I know this is football; it's two different things, but you know, it doesn't matter what you're doing.
People make that connection all the time. I think you're good.
For sure. I mean, being a veteran too, and a combat
He's also
veteran.
a vet, yeah.
Exactly.
So
So I think if
that.
anyone's allowed to, you can say that.
You have carte blanche.
Yeah. I don't know. No, I'm not. I already ate. I don't know what carte blanche is, but thank you though.
The ability to do whatever you want.
Oh, I wish.
Whatever the hell you want.
I would. Yeah. Well, thank you. Thank you for your thank you. I appreciate that. I whatever it is, if it's something as serious as that, if it's something a little less serious as football, if you're at a desk job, whatever, leadership, man. You can't leadership and motivating men and women, like you can't put a price on that. I know you guys all loved the video, so I'm not expecting any surprises here. Savak, what do you think? You make some videos too, some good ones. What do you think of that one? They knocked it out of the park?
Yeah, I think that was epic, man. Hard to imagine topping that, you know? Couldn't help but notice all of the old school, the throwback unis in there.
I saw. Did someone say that to you on Twitter, or did you say that on Twitter? I saw you talking to somebody on Twitter. Okay, yeah. I saw you talking to a couple people about it. Brian, you loved it or what?
Yeah, absolutely. When I first saw it, I sent it to one of our friends. Just my instant thought was the Kool-Aid man running through a wall. I could have totally done that. So excited. I hate to say this, I hate to be a Debbie Downer, but it's so Miami Dolphins that so I've been a Miami Dolphins fan since 1984. And as you know, since Ricky Williams, retired too quickly back in, I believe, 2003, there hasn't been a lot of hope in Miami. We've been just teetering on mediocre at best for the most time. So there hasn't been a lot of hope. And this year there is definitely more hope. We have a franchise quarterback. He's leading the NFL in sales. We spent over $100 million in free agents. We had more draft picks than anybody with 11 draft picks. I love the draft. So before I saw that video, I'm hyped. But then, with everything going on with COVID, it's just so Miami Dolphins at like our most hype off season, our most hyped ready to go season. And I'm still like sitting on my hands for them. Like, will there be a season? Will there be a season? But after that video, if there's not a season, I will be at the Hard Rock Stadium on September 13th playing by myself if I have to. Like, there's going to be football. And I'm also invested. I have tickets to week 1 against the Patriots. So I'm really hoping that there's fans, that there's football. But, yeah, I mean, that video, there really has, and we took that from MiamiDolphins.com. We probably broke all kinds of rules having that on there, but it was worth it. But MiamiDolphins.com, we got to give them a shout. Their social media department over the past 6 months has really stepped up. It used to be kind of boring, and every day they have like a really new, exciting thing. I feel like when they interviewed Tua, they stole my dad joke of the day, but it's for another show. But it's just been a lot of fun to watch, and I was really, 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 really amped. I may have tackled my wife that day when that video came out just for fun. I'm really excited about opening day.
That's weird because I heard she broke the tackle. Is what I heard.
She totally did.
Put
She
a
scored
stiff
a
arm.
touchdown.
Put a stiff arm on you.
Right to the
Your
face.
daughter came and threw a block and cleared you out. Jason, how hype are you right now? Jason got up to run through a wall for us, and he thought better of it. How hype are you right now?
Regardless of me pulling a hamstring on that, I'm still ridiculously hyped. The social media department for the Dolphins, top notch. I mean, Brian, you said it. It seems like every other day they're coming out with something that not only hypes you, but just lets you learn something new about the new Dolphins. Or that hype video didn't include Tua. It didn't include rookies. And we're all extremely hyped. I mean, maybe like just very quickly it touched on something like that, but they did not focus on anything really fresh. And we're all still ready to go absolutely nuts. Patience is a virtue is what I'm trying to get to. We've all been waiting for a long time. And it's going to happen. I just don't know when. But it's not going to be in a decade. It's going to happen inside the decade. This is the decade.
This is it.
2020. And how many after that? That's really where I think we are. We've earned it as a fan base. This is the year to start it. The Dolphins organization from top to bottom knows that. And everything this organization has been doing for the last 5, 6, 7 years from top to bottom off the field has been brilliant, So you really just got to be very, very happy and confident with everyone steering the ship from the top to the number 2, number 3, and everybody else. So I'm going to run through a wall before this weekend's over. I'm watching that 15 more times before the weekend's over. So we'll do it. We'll get it.
The one clip that really just gets me ready to just kill people is that Nick Needham hit on Sam Darnold in Miami. That sack, I could watch that on loop all day and never get bored. He just
agreed.
I think he was the setup for why Sam Darnold was seeing ghosts against New England. If I got hit like that too, I'd still probably be seeing ghosts.
That hit that amazing. He did. That was probably, I could only imagine what was going through that young kid's head when he was smashing Darnold's head through the ground. Because that must have been the equivalent of winning a Super Bowl for a kid like that, to have a play like that. And, one little thing about Needham, and we all know I'm a big, big Needham guy. I did a stat study on him. That sack made him the only player on the planet as an undrafted cornerback to have a sack, a forced fumble, an interception, and over 50 tackles as a rookie. So that put him on a Mount Rushmore with 3 empty slots out of undrafted cornerback. So
impressive.
Oh, do I love that cornerback? And I don't care if we have 5 or 6 or 7. This is a secondary that's going to be a top 2 or 3 in the league inside of 2 seasons.
So just in case to cover our bases here, if there's any alphabet boys listening, Brian is not literally going to kill anyone over that video. So yes, please leave us alone. It's just a very hype video. So listen, I didn't make this, thought process up. I'm not original with it, whatever. Everyone talks about it now, but culture change, man, it is a culture change. And Brian made me think of it, talking about how MiamiDolphins.com and the Dolphins Twitter or whatever, their media, it's been boring for a little while. It's been great lately. Well, this is what happens. Like Jason said, from top to bottom, things change all the way. If you I watched that Bulls, the Last Dance documentary, and they were talking about Jordan would kick it with the security guards and the janitors got a ton of love. And when it happens, they take care of these guys. These workers, these media people, they love this team too. It's not just a job to them. They love this team and they want to see this team succeed. And bringing in Flores has just completely changed it from top to bottom, all the way from the people working concession probably get hyped, For some of those guys, it's probably a job, but they end up, you can't be there in that atmosphere and not get excited, I'm not a Bills fan, but if I worked at the Lid for some reason at New Era, if I work concession, I'd get a little excited seeing a hit or a touchdown. It's just human nature, So I think it's great. I think that video did a good job too of covering that culture change with some of the Flores quotes and stuff. The dude's just a leader. We brought in leaders on the field. I'm excited. I'm ready to get it going. I might try to tackle my dog when we get off, but he weighs more than me, so I don't know.
Good luck.
Yeah. All right. So we cool with that? You guys ready to keep it rolling?
Mm-hmm.
Nope.
All right, now I am finally on where I wanted to get earlier. Josh Rosen, our guy. A lot of talk in the Twitter world, a lot of talk, Miami Dolphins Twitter, Josh Rosen possibly getting a shot. Are there people that actually believe that? I think he should get a shot somewhere. I don't think it happens with us. The dude's obviously at one point was talented. Brian, what's up? I see a lot of Rosen stuff on Twitter all the time, and I don't understand what's going on.
Yeah, before I give you my opinion on what should happen with Josh Rosen, there is a really I have a lot of fun with it on Twitter. There is this weird faction on Twitter called the Josh Rosen Truther. There was one gentleman, I forget his Twitter handle, but when we drafted Tua, after months of beating the drum for Josh Rosen, he just disappeared off Twitter for like a month. He couldn't even come back on. A friend of our show, Milton Lambrusco, he is a big Josh Rosen truther, a little bit more realistic. He doesn't think that, Rosen's going to just straight outperform Tua.
Brian, real quick, is there any chance that first Twitter handle you mentioned that disappeared for a month, is it Josh Rosen's burner account? Is there any chance that
it's possible? But Milton, he hit up our hotline with some text on why he think Rosen might get a shot. A lot of it, he talked about how we got rid of Chad O'Shea because Josh Rosen really couldn't learn his system, and we moved to a much easier system in Chan Gailey. I really don't think that has too much to do with Rosen as much as it does with the rookie quarterback.
I think it's something that happened, and he's tying it into it. I doubt. What is it? Correlation doesn't equal cause. What is that term? Yeah.
And there's some chances. Who Tua's coming off a hip injury. We don't know. We haven't seen Tua in pads. There's a chance they put him on the PUP list. It's possible. Josh Rosen could come in as our number 2 quarterback until we know Tua's healthy. My personal opinion, but there's like this other girl, Lindsay OK, who has a blue check mark on Twitter. She is a big Josh Rosen fan. There's some people that really think that, he's 23 years old. He's younger than Joe Burrow. He really hasn't had a chance. He hasn't had, he's had a bunch of different offensive coordinators. He's had to move teams. He's had to move coaches. I think at the end of the day, though, it comes down to it. Kyler Murray didn't use that excuse when he got his chance in Arizona. When Ryan Fitzpatrick came back in, he didn't use the excuse. And Josh Rosen wasn't using the excuse, so I don't want to accuse him of that. But, Ryan Fitzpatrick made the most of a bad situation last year in Miami. And to me, he's really cheap. He's like $1 million this year and $1 million next year if Miami keeps him on the roster with the uncertainty of Tua playing this year in his hip. I wouldn't be surprised if we carry, and especially with COVID, if we carry 3 quarterbacks, we have Josh Rosen there. I'm rooting for the guy. I was happy we traded for him. I think, taking a second-round pick on a guy that was the 10th overall pick the year before for a franchise that hasn't had a franchise quarterback in 20 years, it was worth a shot. I hope that he eventually finds success. But, to put a pin in it, I just think we drafted Tua, outside of something miraculous happens, this is Tua's team going forward. And hopefully Josh sticks around and raises his trade value. But I think that's all he can really do.
I think you and I talked about it the day that trade happened, and we both talked. It was a great trade. It made sense. This dude's a huge talent coming out of college, at least. Like, why not pay just a little bit to get him and kick the tires on the kid? Jason, what do you think about Rosen? Are we going to see Rosen in a Miami Dolphins uniform taking snaps this year?
There's no reason to do anything rash with him right now, because if you look at the market for him, the market has what we've seen from him last year, not a lot of good tape. The Dallas game, not good. Training camp, Fitzpatrick had that job won before they walked out to the field day one, and never lost it. They need to put him in a position to up his value. Because will Josh Rosen be a Miami Dolphin in 3 years? No. Will his value increase? The only way to do that is to get him on the field, but I don't know when or if or how that could happen. So there's a lot of kind of choose your own adventures that the Dolphins could do. I really firmly believe right now that with Ryan Fitzpatrick earning the right of first refusal, look, he starts off 2-2, see if he can go 3-2. If not, see what happens. If they start losing games, dipping below 500, let's see if the offensive line's ready. If the offensive line is completely not ready, I would throw out Josh Rosen for 2 games. If he goes 1-1, 5 touchdowns, 2 picks, 750 yards, pick up a phone, call somebody. Look, I mean, did the Dolphins or the Cardinals win the trade? Right now, the Cardinals won the trade. Right now. Was it a great trade then? Financially? Sure. Devil's advocate, I wanted to draft a defensive edge that pick and not trade it, but we did get another pick back, so it was okay. And of course, let's see what they could turn. Maybe could they trade him in week 5 if he plays well for a 4th and a 5th? I don't know. They're not getting a 2nd or a 3rd, but right now you're not getting a 6th or a 7th for him almost. So something's got to give, and he has to get on the field and perform. But then, of course, you have 2 other quarterbacks in the room, so it's a very interesting situation. Perfect world for me. Ryan Fitzpatrick plays a couple of admirable weeks, even to the point where he's talking about leading this team maybe to a playoff run. If whatever happens, you see Josh Rosen, trade deadline, and then you decide on where the team is, where the offensive line is, what Tua's hip situation is, and then take it from there.
Yeah, it's a tough situation for the franchise either way, because if he was to have like 4 good weeks, like teams know he's not our guy, and the trade would just be like, oh, well, they just want the best they can get for him. I don't think there's going to be like a bidding war. So
no.
Even if he threw in 4 weeks, if he threw 15 touchdowns, no picks, and 1,000 yards, like no one's going to be like, oh, here's a 2nd rounder and a second. You know what I mean? Like it's still going to get lowballed just because we're at no position of leverage, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're going to know
the 1 game can maybe turn a round or 2 leverage. Like right now, the value is all-time low.
For sure. And what my point, like I agree with you, and my point was just that the value is capped at a certain height just because teams know we don't need them. Like it would just be, they're going to come in low. And Savak, what do you think here, man?
I guess I should preface this by saying I have never particularly been all that high on Josh Rosen. And in fact, that year he got drafted, I breathed such a sigh of relief when Arizona traded ahead of us to take him because, we had those rumors out there that Miami wanted him and stuff, and I really didn't want him. The irony in the whole thing being that he was considered to be the most pro-ready prospect, and it just has not looked like that. And, now when you look at him a couple years forward, he's got a career completion percentage of 54%, 12 touchdowns, 19 interceptions. He has not looked good out there. And I understand, of course, the factors beyond his control and all that, bad offensive lines, et cetera. But just like I think Brian was saying, that you can't really – other quarterbacks have come into these same situations and produced better results. So I don't see a long future with him in Miami. I think if he decides to stay on as a backup, that'd be pretty cool because, I guess he's a clean enough prospect for that. Not 100% sure where else he could go. I think if he goes to the right system, he'll have a lot of success. I'd love to see him in, say, a West Coast offense, maybe something a bit up-tempo. Because that's kind of where he came from. When he came from UCLA, they were running a really pass-happy offense. They didn't do a lot of winning, but he looked pretty good usually. Although I will point out a lot of his best throws in college, it seemed like he got lucky on.
Yeah.
So now, you're forced to wonder how much of that was actually his talent and ability and how much of that was just him getting lucky. So – yeah. That's where I'm at.
I could see a world where, you know what? I read something on Twitter and I apologize. I forget who said it. I don't think it was a media member, just someone's comment. This COVID stuff's hurting Josh Rosen right now, right? Or maybe did I read it wrong? It's hurting his situation right now. He'd be getting reps. It would just be easier for him to be able to possibly get moved, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm just making sure. I didn't look into it. I just flashed by and saw a tweet about it.
Yeah, the lack of preseason games too will hurt him, hurt his trade value.
Yeah. It is all working against him right now, just like most everybody else.
The one thing though, everyone's got to remember is so he is really cheap. He's on a 2-year deal. His big thing has been he's been moving all over. He's always had to change offensive coordinators. It wouldn't hurt. So Ryan Fitzpatrick is in the last year of his deal. So it wouldn't hurt if we went in to 2021 with Josh Rosen as our backup. Let him back up Tua for if he backs up Tua, our quarterback room would be less than $10 million. That's a huge advantage when you're building a roster. So and then maybe through that time in another preseason, and maybe he mops up some duty for Tua at some point. Maybe he walks away and gets signed to a big deal, and we get a 3rd-round comp pick out of it.
Yeah.
And that Phoenix deal is, or the Arizona deal's not that bad. All that being said, Josh Rosen truthers on Twitter, please keep doing what you're doing. I love the content. I just love your takes. They're really entertaining. If you completely disagree with all of us, please at the show. Please call our hotline. Make your case for Josh Rosen. The Josh Rosen truther is just an anomaly that I just want to keep going 100%.
Yeah, the kid deserves a shot somewhere. He's working, he's trying his best. He's doing his thing. Like, the kid deserves some time somewhere. It's probably not going to happen in Miami, but he should be able to get a crack. The dude hasn't played behind a decent line in his career, right? He's never had a shot. He was thrown into some bad spots. Not a lot of guys come into the league and just boom, like behind a bad line too. They don't just come in and start throwing the ball around, dominating, especially at quarterback. So.
Well, that's the key. When you're drafted early, you're going to a bad situation.
Yeah, for sure.
Hands down. And he did. He landed 2 back-to-back dog shit situations. So for him to even still want to play is kind of amazing.
Yeah. I wouldn't blame him for hanging that, but that shows me something, because I've read some things that he's not too open to learning. He's got a little bit of a bad attitude. Like,
I know what you're referring to, because they were saying that before, and he had some questionable comments before the draft. Like he said, I don't need football, although he didn't mean it the way that it came across. It just it was a bad look.
Oh, okay. I didn't even see that comment specifically. Oh, all right.
Oh, yeah.
He has been handling this really well, though. I mean, they drafted Tua. They after drafting Murray last year, he has not come out and bashed the team. He hasn't been demanding a trade. He knows that he needs to learn a little bit.
I'll tell you this about Rosen too. Sorry to interrupt. Just when we could talk nice about a Dolphin, always good to talk nice about a Dolphin.
Yeah.
But when he was traded, Larry Fitzgerald had a charity softball game that night. Josh Rosen still went to play.
Yeah.
And Larry Fitzgerald was like, all right, and was like sending him off. But I'll tell you the truth. If everyone's saying, oh, disgruntled guy, he cleaned out his locker room, disgruntled guys don't go to play in a charity softball game.
No.
So that was a bum rap. He's a good kid. He comes from obviously a very good situation in his life.
Yeah.
So the need football is, look, he's also could probably beat most tennis players on a hard court right now.
Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily mean he's going to go try to win, a Grand Slam in tennis. But the kid's got a long career left.
And I can understand.
I'm sorry, Sabak. The better line probably would have been he doesn't need the money from football or something.
There you
exactly.
go. There you go. If he doesn't want to play football, don't play football. But he obviously does.
And I can understand, like, maybe his personality might rub some people the wrong way. I remember he kind of reminded me a little bit of Aaron Rodgers, which was a little funny to me because before he got drafted, I remember the NFL did this whole thing where they had him working out with Aaron a little bit, and Aaron was giving him some, like, advice, and it was kind of weird. I was thinking to myself, like, are you sure you're not, like, Josh Rosen's dad or something? Like, maybe.
I agree.
But
I'm sure a lot of that is misconstrued, right? Because a California kid from some money, it's probably you just don't. If you don't know a person like that, then you just don't understand it. Like they're just kind of nonchalant. Like they really don't have much to worry about. Like, and he just worded it wrong if that's the case. The kid, I don't know what his degree was, or if I'm assuming he didn't graduate.
In his dorm room.
101 degrees. But he went to a good school. I'm sure the dude could go and do a million different things and be okay. So I don't think he meant it as he doesn't need need the game of football. But
Right.
all right, are you guys ready to keep it moving, or do you want to keep talking about our third string quarterback for another 20 minutes? All right, so we're going to check back in with the poll here because we are going to be talking about Adam Gase and him beefing with the 20th player in his career to beef with. This time, it's this could be the best player that he's ever had problems with, or at least most potential. Brian, where are we at over there?
Yeah, so the question was, will New York Jets coach Adam Gase be fired in 2020? The options were at some point during the season, yes, he will be fired, or no, he will not. Overwhelmingly, 60% of the vote is saying, yes, he will be fired. Second place is not no. Second place is he will be fired at some point in the season with 25%, and no comes in at 14%.
So I'm not a mathematician, but that sounds like 85%, right, of people think that he'll be fired. It just depends on whether when it will happen. Yeah, oh, man, this dude causes problems. I don't know. Jason, what do you think here with Adam Gase? I know you're not a big Gase fan, but what's your opinion on this?
I can't wait. I can't wait to watch this just flame out. It's just, there's no good end that could happen here. And I'm not even being like an anti-jab. I'm just being someone who has two eyeballs. I mean, what is this man doing with the talent? I mean, you could field an actual roster of Pro Bowl players who he's not done right by, caused to go out of town, wants to go out of town. I mean, how many Pro Bowls, when it's all said and done, will you add up? Guys like a Jarvis Landry, guys like a Jamal Adams, guys like a Minka Fitzpatrick. You know, Jay, forget about, because that's like, you know, whatever. But still, look what happened to that situation. Like, why would you trade that man? Like, why would you do that?
That hypothetical team with me at quarterback would win the AFC South.
Oh, God, no question. But, well, Gase, I'm just going to say this without trying to be anything other than truthful. He's not an NFL coach. He's not. He's maybe is an assistant on a staff. But you know where I think that he would have a lot of success, and I'm not even joking? Go to Hawaii. Be the offensive coordinator in Hawaii. Remember June Jones and the Atlanta Falcons? Mm-hmm. He went to go coach Hawaii and created the greatest run and shoot offense in college. His teams are scoring 55 points a game, and I'm sure he's living in Hawaii not having much of a problem.
Yeah.
Adam Gase, go coach the Rebels in Hawaii or something, or whatever. They used to be the Rainbows. I don't know, talk about name changes. But
I think they're still the Rainbow Warriors now.
They are.
The Rainbow. There you go. You're good. You're good.
That's offensive to rainbows and warriors.
Not that there's anything wrong with
that. There's not anything wrong with rainbows.
But the fact that I honestly do, I don't wish failure for Adam Gase outside of his failure impending on the Jets. But I do think that, I mean, he just doesn't belong. I mean, who is sniffing salts on the sidelines when every camera in America is looking at you?
You know,
it just is stupid. There's no thought process. When he was drafting, the whole world was watching. No person wanted to be outside of his home more than Adam Gase. At least fake it. Pretend that you're having a good time drafting with your family, building a roster. And they drafted well. They drafted really well. Half those players will be gone. Gase is not an NFL coach, in my opinion.
I didn't know about the smelling salts with him. I'm not surprised. But to play devil's advocate, you look at the Cowboys sideline, it's littered with them. You'll see trainers, assistants. You see a ton of Zeke will do it like during the anthem. Zeke will
fine, but I want my head coach not doing that.
Yeah. All right. I don't know. Okay. There were some things I caught myself from saying that nothing about but about smelling salts and getting into a certain headspace. But I'm gonna let it go. Savak, what do you think here, man? With Gase and
personally, if it were up to me, he'd have been fired already. But I'm gonna go ahead and pull an about face because it's the New York Jets. I'm gonna say no. He won't be fired. Not this year. Not at least until the offseason.
I mean, it would behoove of. I don't know if I said that right. It'd behoove for Miami fans to cheer for Gase to keep his job the whole year.
I'd love him to stay. Please,
a 7-year contract.
Yeah, keep driving them into the ground. I love this. This is wonderful.
Brian, Brian, I saved you for last intentionally, man. I know you always got some good insight. I love your Gase stuff. We always got some good stuff. What do you got?
Yeah, let me just frame this real quick on why we brought this up today. The past couple of weeks, Jamal Adams has been and I mean, when I say Jamal Adams is the New York Jets' best player, I don't use that term loosely. He is a mile and a half higher than every other player on that roster. To look quick, last year he had 6.5 sacks. The guy plays safety. The leader of the Miami Dolphins had 5.5 sacks. Our whole team, and he's a defensive end, right? So, I mean, he had an interception and a couple forced fumbles, 7 passes defense. He had 75 tackles. The year before that, he had 115 tackles. I mean, this guy just changes the safety game. To just say he's a safety is very almost demeaning because he's all over the field. But what had happened was they hadn't signed him to an extension. They hadn't made it a priority, and he left. He left the locker room and he said, "I want out of New York. Please give me a trade. Please let me look for a trade." They said no. There was an actual footage of a kid on Instagram seeing him in Texas, and they're like, "Hey man, come down to the Cowboys." And he responded to him, "I'm trying." Manish Mehta of the New York Post, he cited that not only does Jamal Adams want out of New York because of the contract situation, but he is also not a fan of Adam Gase. He doesn't believe in him as a coach, which was really funny. Last week, Adam Gase did a press interview about this, or a press conference about this, and when asked about it, he said, "We're going to keep all of this in-house."
Too late for that.
It's not in-house. He's in Texas telling little kids, whoever's got a camera, I want to go to the Dallas Cowboys. So that was funny. But yeah, I mean, this isn't the first time with this. We don't have Jarvis Landry's a Cleveland Brown right now because he can't get along with good players. Omar Kelly always cites this. Adams Gase's worst enemy is his own ego. He just can't get out of his ego's way. He can't run a team. I mean, does anybody remember 2017? It started off with us smoking Jay Cutler out of retirement for $10 million. Then our offensive line coach was caught on tape doing cocaine. Our star signing, Lawrence Timmons, didn't make the trip to week 1. He literally did not go to San Diego for the game. He traveled to Pittsburgh to be with his old locker room, to be with a coach that knows what they're doing. He's alienated. We saw at the end of Gase's last year, Rashad Jones refused to go back into a game. He alienated Jay Ajayi, and Jay Ajayi's needs bailed Adam Gase out of that situation. But to trade the fourth leading rusher in the NFL,
and I'm sorry, you traded him to the eventual Super Bowl winners.
Yeah.
What kind of message are you sending there? Because I remember that. I was like, man, see, that would have prompted me to act up too. You traded me to the team everyone's expecting to go all the way. If I mess around, will I get traded there too?
That's what I was going to say when you said what message. The message is if you leave Adam Gase, you can possibly win a Super Bowl.
He did it last year. I forget the guy's name, the offensive lineman they signed. It was their big offensive lineman signing. He had some health issues, and I mean, he's suing the Jets now for how they handled his injury because he had surgery, and the Jets said that wasn't deemed. We didn't okay that surgery. He was fining Quincy Inua, who was on the injured reserve. I mean, this guy, he's just a player's nightmare until, I don't feel anything bad for the New York Jets, but I kind of feel bad for Sam Darnold because he's in a situation to fail. The only coaching position Adam Gase has been successful at is when Peyton Manning was calling his plays. The only coaching position I see in his future is if Peyton Manning does more of those matches against Tom Brady, be Peyton Manning's caddy and take all the credit for beating the GOAT quarterback. I'm surprised he made it through. If they didn't finish the season, they had a really, really, really nice end to last year, playing nobody they beat one winning team in that time, and they won like 6 of the last 7 games, I believe. If it wasn't for that, I believe he'd be fired now. But this team, especially with the strong personality at the defensive coordinator, I feel this team will split by like week 4 and something will happen before the season's over. That would be my take on it.
Was the O lineman you were referring? Was it Kalichi Ozemele?
Yes.
Whatever. Was that who it was? I had it pulled up already and saw his name, and I knew I remembered it from somewhere. Man, I just completely forgot what I was going to say about the situation with Gase and Jamal Adams. But so Greg Williams came out right and said that he's got Adams back, right? Isn't that what the quote was? So
Is that a headhunting joke?
No, what I think it is that's him like, oh shoot, if Gase gets fired here and he's coming for that head coaching job. Yeah. He's putting himself in a better position.
He should have been the guy to begin with.
For sure.
Here's the thing. It shouldn't have even made it that far because he should have been given the head coaching job in Cleveland.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
On the full to whatever, like on the permanent basis, because that team was thriving during that time while he was the interim head coach. They should have left everything the way it was. So that's why I think now at this point, he's looking at this situation thinking, dude, if Gase gets fired, I'm the guy. This becomes my team, and if we start winning, this is my job to keep.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I think Adam Gase is the main thing keeping me of being scared of the Jets, because I actually think their roster is kind of okay. Their defense is has some names, some talent, especially with, like Brian said, Jamal Adams. I mean, there's a case this kid's going to be the best defensive back in the league very soon. Super talented. Probably for another team. Actually, and thank you for mentioning that, because there was the one thing going off script a little bit here. Very, very quickly, Brian, if he leaves, where's he go? Where do you think best fit? Not where do you think he will or should? What team needs the most? What's best fit? Or if it is a team that you actually think he'll go to, where do you think he plays football after the Jets?
Yeah, I think eventually he will have to be traded because he's so discontent. And people say, well, I mean, if he holds out, whatever, he loses. But the Jets locker room can't afford to have the best player discontent all season long. So I do believe he'll be traded. I think you got to throw away all the AFC East teams. I don't think they're that dumb where they're throwing there. Philadelphia could be a team. All
right. So what's your one team you think where do you think he goes?
I would say Philadelphia or Dallas.
Philadelphia or Dallas. All right, two's fine. Savak, what do you think?
I'm agreeing with Brian.
Philly, Dallas. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Jason, what do you got?
I'm going to say if I'm jumping into the front office, if I'm the Niners, John Lynch, I'm giving him a call.
That's what I think too. I'm
giving him a call.
That's what I think too. It's not my complete thought either. I saw that a lot of people think that's where he's going. They've showed some interest apparently.
I think it's a match made in heaven.
Yeah, they could. I mean, anyone could use them, but that's a position they definitely have a little bit of a need compared to anywhere else on defense. All right.
One more, Kansas City.
Yeah, they would probably be my number 2 also. All right. Anybody? We're running up against it a little bit. Anybody have a final thought on it? No, everyone's good to go.
Thank God he's the coach of the Jets.
What's up,
One
Savak?
question actually has nothing to do with that topic, but I'm sure you guys saw that David Njoku has requested a trade from the Cleveland Browns, and I saw articles popping up this morning. Do you guys think Miami should pursue David Njoku?
I don't think so. Jason shaking his head no. Jason, you don't think so?
Nothing against the player,
mm-hmm.
but I'm going to go on there's 30 other teams in the league, meaning not the Dolphins, not the Browns. We have a young kid in Mike Gesicki who needs to develop.
Yeah.
Needs to develop. And I know Chan Gailey doesn't like necessarily using the tight. He is a wide receiver wrapped in a tight end position tag.
Yeah.
He's not a tight end. He's going to be a targeted wide receiver. Give this man 70 to 90 targets, literally. If he can pull down 55, 65 catches, I'm not trading a second round or a third rounder for Njoku when there's so many more things that the team needs. It's a nice thing. You don't want to bring in a luxury car when you already got two Ferraris in the driveway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do other things to get the roof over your head fixed or the infrastructure of your team fixed. You got some nice items.
Jason took the words right out of my mouth. Brian, what do you think? Anything to it?
I'm just scared that he's going to be a Patriot. I don't know David Njoku as the blocker. I know he's a very talented pass catcher. I'm not sure if he's a good run blocker. If he is a good run blocker, it's definitely worth the call because I see Gesicki's position coming this year more as a slot wide receiver more than a lineup as an inline tight end. So it couldn't hurt to get a call. It couldn't hurt to make a call just to keep him out of New England because there is a channel there. They trade quite frequently in between each other. Yep. I don't want Cam Newton to get Njoku. He's dealing with 2 rookie tight ends and a mess at wide receiver. So it's worth a call. I don't think when they signed Hooper that they really wanted to let go Njoku. I think they wanted the dual tight end threat. So, but yeah, I wouldn't hate it coming to Miami. I don't think he's better than Gesicki. I hope he doesn't take any time away from Gesicki. But behind Gesicki, we're not that great. You know, Durham Smythe is a kind of a blocking tight end. We picked up the kid from Detroit who was injured last year, but it wouldn't hurt to have that. But also our offensive coordinator, Chan Gailey, doesn't have a deep history of using tight ends outside of the year he coached Tony Gonzalez. So I'm good with Gesicki, but man, if we have to throw a 4th round pick to keep him out of New England.
Out of New England, yeah.
Let's do it.
One little thing about New England, they know how to use tight ends and use them pretty well. I like Njoku a lot. I like the talent and the potential. It hasn't kind of really come out yet. I still gonna stick by him for another year or two. I think Arizona as a possible landing spot would be super, super scary.
That makes sense.
Savak, you threw it out there. What do you think, man? Miami bound or?
No, I wouldn't, because as much as I wouldn't hate to see it, and just like Brian, I agree, I would hate to see him go to New England. I actually kind of like the you put out there. Arizona would be an incredible fit for him, and I'm sure they would love to have him.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, that's their wide receiver core is right there, and that's one position that they could use. And I mean, it never hurts getting a young kid like Kyler Murray, a tight end that he could use, you know. And
nice big target that he can hit. Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, boys. Well, we hit it a little long here, so we're gonna close it up. As always, as we like to do. Real quickly though, just for all the fans out there, let everyone know. Miami Dolphins owner Stephen Ross. He's donating to a COVID relief fund, and he will match all donations that go into that fund. The link is on MiamiDolphins.com. You can Google just the dcc.donordrive.com. It pops it right up. Or I just Googled Stephen Ross donated COVID relief, and it pops the website you can go to donate right up. There's a million ways to find it. I'll be going over and donating a few couple little pieces of change, a little something. I don't want to flex on everybody and what I can be donating, $2-3. But not everyone has it like Jimmy. So hey, before we close this thing out, anybody got anybody got any exciting going on for the 4th? Jason, what you just kicking it around the house or what?
A little barbecue, a little hang out with the kids, a couple of bike rides, and
awesome.
See if we can maybe ride around the block, say hello to a couple of people in their yards and whatever.
A little family time, while adhering to rules, man. Responsible.
You always got to be responsible.
Responsible, and that's it when it comes to gambling. Savak,
Right.
what do you got going on, man?
Oh, nothing in particular. Probably just going to get intoxicated and enjoy a wonderful Independence Day with my wife.
All right. Well, yes, please be safe, drink responsibly.
As
from
always.
From all the fit addicts, everyone out there drink responsibly, please. Brian, what do you got going on, man?
Yeah, just hanging out. My grandmother-in-law turns 80 this week, so we're gonna go drive by, kind of do the social distancing celebration. My one dog hates fireworks, so we're probably gonna give her doggy Xanax and hold her while the fireworks goes on. But
nice.
nothing too exciting. When you have a baby, you have a 7-month-old baby, you go to bed at 8:00 at night, no matter what.
Sorry, if you only caught like part of what you just said, it sounds like we're gonna give our dog Xanax and go pull a drive-by on my grandma's house.
Hey, however you
That's
do
how we do it
in
upstate New York, Savak.
That's how we do it.
You live your best life, Brian.
I could go for a doggy Xanax, honestly, myself. So if you need some company, let me know. I'm gonna go put some rounds down range and eat some burgers, man. So my buddy's got some land, so go. Yeah, but it doesn't get more American than that.
I was just about to say that.
Yeah, hell yeah, America.
Drive.
All right. Well, hey, Jason, thank you very much for joining us, man. Always a blast having you on. Love your takes. Love your stuff. We love you, man.
Thank you, dude.
Jason Sarney from Fin Maniacs. Make sure you check him out. Thanks for checking in with us again. Please, if you haven't already, go to the YouTube channel, Fin Addicts Network. Subscribe. The Twitter page, Fin_Addicts. Go check out the podcast on Apple Podcasts. It's on iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Anchor, all of it. Boom. Check it out. Rate it. Tell us what you like, what you didn't. Hit the hotline. We have that number posted up. It's on the Twitter. Anybody else got anything? Did I miss anything? Any shout outs? We're good.
Thank you very much, Jason, for joining us. You can also find us, the Fin Addicts Network, on Jason's website. He made us a nice landing page on finmaniacs.com. So support both of us at once by going to one website.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
again, it was a fun 4th of July with you guys.
Yeah. Everyone have a good time. Be safe. Fins up.
Right.
Happy 4th.